Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it till the end. It is day 31 of our 31 winter backpacking / camping tips in 31 days. If you've been with me since the beginning, thank you so much for sticking till the end. Hopefully you found a lot of value into this. If you're just joining, make sure to watch the playlist of this entire series that's in the description below, because you've missed out a lot of valuable information. My goal in this series is to basically give you what I've acquired in terms of experience for the past 10 to 15 years by going out through trial and error, and give you applicable, useful tips that you can literally use the next time you go out. And if you've never gone out, this is on a winter backpacking or a winter camping trip, this is a great place to start, because I give you guys what I wish I would have known 15 years ago when I was 18 and went out on my first winter backpacking tip. So this series is extremely valuable. The knowledge won't be enough to make you a pro at it, but it will give you what you need to try and what you also need to perfect, so that you can become really good at winter backpacking or winter camping, and so that it's fun, because winter camping and winter backpacking is certainly challenging, but it's easily doable, and it's just about doing it and having the right knowledge, which I provided you tenfold this entire month. Also, to add on top of that, to help you go out on your first trip, I've put together a winter camping gear checklist or winter backpacking gear checklist. It's basically what I bring on my winter backpacking trips. You can get your hands on that over on my website at parextreme.com/winter gear checklist. Today's topic for the last one is certainly a major topic for winter backpacking, because when people go out winter backpacking for their first time, what they never anticipated, the thing that comes up all the time is basically the following: is that winter backpacking is so wet. You would think because you're out in the winter, you wouldn't have to deal with so much water, but it's a big water management game. From the water that you need to drink, so you're constantly having to figure out where you're going to get water, from having to avoid the water freezing on you all the time that you need to also consume, from the moisture in the water that your own body produces from your breath, the condensation. Sleeping in the winter can become extremely miserable because of the amount of moisture that you're going to be creating, the condensation. So managing moisture management is a huge component to winter backpacking, one that usually surprises people. I know for me, on my first couple of winter backpacking trips, I was constantly trying to learn how to manage the moisture I was creating, because I was being wet, and then obviously if you're wet, you get cold. So here are a couple of tips and a few things to get you started. A lot of this will be trial and error with each and every one of you, but the number one thing I want to tell you is try to avoid sweating. Very, very hard when you're out winter backpacking in the mountains. I understand that, but understand that you can ramp up your body temperature and sweat a lot at first, but when you know you're about a few kilometers away from camp, and you know you're going to get to camp soon, try to slow down a little bit at the last few kilometers, the last few miles, to allow for your body to cool off and to slowly dry off as you go. That's a huge, huge thing that a lot of people don't think about. They just want to get back to camp and get to camp. They just bomb there. They get there, they're sweating. If you can slow down and you can manage your body temperature, it's going to be great. It's going to help you quite a bit to manage that. Number one. Number two, in a winter, you're constantly I'm going to contradict myself here, but you're constantly sweating. You're sweating way more than you would think. And I don't know if you're sweating more or it's just more noticeable because that sweat comes out as warm moistures. It condensates, so everything gets wet. But point is that you lose a lot of water because also the exertion of hiking in the winter is a lot higher than in the summertime. So one thing that a lot of people forget to do is to replenish their water by drinking it. So many people, and me included, I can go all day in the winter because it's not hot. I don't get thirsty. I can go all day climbing mountains and not drink any water, and then I get to camp and I'm super dehydrated. I have a headache and I'm feeling nauseous and I'm just not having a great time. And a lot of that can be traced back to the fact that I didn't drink any water. So try to drink water every 30 minutes, every hour minimum, okay? A couple of sips. You don't have to drink a ton, but just a couple of sips constantly, because that's also one of the major things you need to know. Guzzling a liter of water is not going to help you out. You need to take in a little bit of water continuously throughout the day as you're exerting yourself. So put a timer on as a group. Make it official. Say, hey guys, let's remind each other to drink water. This is what we typically do. We try to remind each other all the time, and also convince each other to drink water, because so often you're like, I'm not thirsty, I'm not going to drink this time around. No, you have to drink. You really have to, so that you don't dehydrate yourself. It's certainly a big thing that a lot of people forget. Because it's not warm, you don't get thirsty. And those are basically two big water management, moisture management tips that I wanted to give you guys to finish off. Again, winter backpacking is an art. If I can do it, you can do it. It's just a matter of putting yourself out there, applying the tips and the tricks that I gave you for the past 31 days, trial and error, and just iterating around those to see what will work for you, because your winter camping, winter backpacking habits will all be intertwined together and work together to basically make you have the best experience out there. And that just requires time. It takes time to get good at it. It's an art. But just like anything good in life worth working for, it's in the work that's the best fun. It's not the destination. Hell, I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I still learn, and that's what I like about it. My art continuously improves. My habits, my techniques are constantly, what if I do this before this instead? Right? So for example, for moisture management myself, at least for me, I don't change into my camp clothes immediately when I get to camp. Some people like to change completely into dry stuff and then do their camp chores. For me, I try to hold off for as long as I can before I change, because I know that in that time where I'm cooling off, I'm also drying the clothes that I'm wearing that I'm gonna need to wear again tomorrow. And the drier they are, the easier it's gonna be for me tomorrow to get started again, and so on and so forth. You know, from the water that you're boiling in your Nalgene bottle to keep warm in your to keep you warm in your sleeping bag, but also to provide you with drinkable water the next day so that it's not frozen. All of these tips and tricks are intimately intertwined together. They all work together to make your experience the best. So the only thing that's left for you guys to do is to grab that gear checklist on the website. The link is in the description below. Is to listen to this entire playlist and try to, don't try to try everything all at once. Work one at a time, especially if you do simple overnighters. There's a lot of leeway for mistakes on simple overnighters, especially if you're not far from your car. But just slowly start to apply all of these tips and try them out to see how and what's going to work best for you. And I'm sure you're going to be successful, and you're going to realize why it is one of my favorite seasons to hang out outside, to go on trips. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much if you've stuck around to the end. I know not a whole lot of people make it to the end of the video, so thank you so much if you're still here, if you've been around for the last 31 days. If you know of people that want to get into winter backpacking, these tips are extremely valuable, as small as they might seem, or as simple as they might seem, especially if you're someone who already goes out winter backpacking. They are extremely valuable, because if I would have had those 15 years ago, it would have fast-tracked my learning curve quite a bit. So thank you for watching, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, like this video as well, comment, leave me a comment. If you have any questions, leave them all in there. I'll answer them, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.